Hi everyone, Jem here. Welcome back to my creative space. And today I'm going to be making a really quick junk journal. And I thought that this would be an ideal opportunity to show you how quickly this can be done and form a basis of a journal. And the beauty about this one that I'm going to show you is it's using completely upcycled materials. So here's one I've made. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be using an old greetings card for the cover, and we're going to be using a variety of papers inside. Now, the reason I'm doing this today, and I thought I would share with you, is that Mr. Jem and I are away from home next week, and I'm going to have a limited amount of materials with me, but I want to be able to take a small journal just to for creative practice every day. I like to do something every day, and if I take something like this with me, then I can keep all my reflections and my artwork and all my bits and pieces in one place. So we helped clear out the flat of an elderly auntie who passed away recently, and I've ended up with, she was a lovely, lovely lady, but she did keep quite a lot of things, and we've ended up with all sorts of cards. Now, as you can see, some of these are getting a little bit old and they're aged, mottled. That doesn't really matter. You can choose, I quite like the cover of this one that I did the other day, and you can choose to keep the front of the card as it is, or you can choose to collage, paint, whatever over the top. So it doesn't really matter if you don't like the picture, it's just a quick way of making a cover. I mean, this one, for example, beautiful. It's an old birthday card. You might choose to keep that as it is. So I'm just looking through, really, I'm seeing what size I want. Ooh, that's quite a nice one. And that one, again, that's an old birthday card. But that one I probably wouldn't even do anything with. I would use that as it is. So let's choose that one for today. Right, the other thing I have, this is my, let's see if you can see this. This is my box. You can't really see it. It's an A4 file folder, and I keep all my paper in here. Now, some of these are plain pieces, some are graph, some of them are old pads, the things I collect as I go around. Some are old writing paper. Look at this beautiful writing paper. And I'll pick these up in my travels around op shops, second-hand places, and family are quite good. They know that I collect all sorts of things like that. So I've pulled out a selection of papers from there, and I'm going to show you how to turn these into a quick journal. I've also pulled out a couple of envelopes. As you can see, these are ones that came from that stack of cards that we found. They get a little bit age mottled. I quite like that look in a journal, but also you can obviously decorate them. Now I'm going to include these too because it's a way of making some really quick pockets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my papers and cut them to fit in here, and then I will show you a quick method of putting them in. Now I'm just going to start putting these pages together quite randomly. As you will see, because I'm going to be mainly drawing, I think, next week, I've kept most of my paper's plain. I've got one graph paper there and a lined bit, but mainly I wanted to keep things plain for next week. Actually going to fold that one the other way for the pocket, and I'm just going to pop these together quite randomly, and then I will cut them down. Some of them will need cutting down to fit. This is some coffee dyed paper that I did some time ago, and as I say, a lot of these other pieces are just random old pads and things that I pick up in my journeys around the op shops and places like that. Now I'm just going to do one signature because that's quick and easy. I don't want a lot of pages in here. I'm only away for about 7 days, so I'm going to keep it fairly small, fairly simple. I'll count them up for you in a minute, but I think that's probably enough. I add one more there and one more in the middle. There we go. Now, what I might do is put them all down to the bottom, because normally I'll put things in the middle so that it's easier for stitching, but as I'm going to cut these, make sure they're all down at the bottom, and then I'm going to line the bottom up like that. I'm going to, with my pen, I'm just going to make a rough mark where I want to cut. That's a bit difficult with this one because it's not a straight edge here, but we'll just make some little marks like that. And I'm going to go away and cut this to fit, and then we'll be back. Now this is probably easier to do if you have one of those lovely big guillotines, but I don't. So my little disc cutter here is just going to run up and down a few times, just to go through all those layers. There's probably an easier way to do this. If you know it, please let me know. Now I keep all these bits because they come in useful for collaging, or you can stamp on them and make borders, depending on their size obviously, but most of these will be kept. Last one there. There we go. So that's cut that way, and I'm going to do exactly the same and slide it in this way and do it as well. Okay folks, so that's all cut to size. So the next thing is to check that it fits. Yeah, look at that. Oh, let's get rid of that out of the way. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's fitting in there. What we're going to do next is to punch our holes and stitch it in. I'm just finding the middle. There we go. Now some of these edges are a little bit rough. For this purpose, I'm really not worried. It's just for me. It's just for a little journal whilst I'm away, so I'm not too bothered. Now I'm going to line the pages up roughly, make sure that those envelopes are going to be where sort of in the middle so that I can use them as pockets. So I'm just checking through the pages Okay, that one I'll probably move into the middle a bit more. I'm hoping you can see that. And there we go. All right, so we're all lined up. I'm going to measure. Oh, okay. It's a little bit longer than my ruler, this card. So I'm actually just going to, now sometimes I'll just eyeball this, but I don't. Here's a tip. If you're doing more than one signature, use one of your offcuts pieces of paper to measure where you want your holes. This book's simple. It's just the one signature. So I'm going to go roughly in the middle and just over an inch from the edges. There we go. So I've got my 3 dots. Now I'm going to show you this. Can you see that? Yeah. This is a little, it's made of balsa wood. And my husband made this for me. As you can see, pretty simple. And it's a neat little trick. So you can pop your things in there. Now I use this, which is a tool that came with my Cricut machine. And what I can do is to push down and make the holes. Like that. And this little doodacky holds the thing that, oh dear, I'm lost for words today, holds the signature quite nicely. All right, I've got a little container. I've been doing some organisation recently. I've got a little container. It's got all my thread in for doing journals. So I'm going to pick some thread and stitch this. I've got some linen thread here. This, again, like I say, I buy a lot of things in the charity shops, or op shops, thrift stores, whatever you call them, depending on where you live. And I work on double the length plus a little bit more. So probably about 2.5 times the length of the book. If you can pick up old linen thread like this, it's great. And I have this, I think this is a leatherwork needle actually. It's got a nice big eye and it's really nice and sharp. So all I'm going to do is get down through that middle hole, up through, gosh, let's turn it over, up through that end one. I'm pretty sure this is actually called pamphlet stitch. So leave an end, pull it nice and tight, back down through the middle, and up through. Up through the other end. Now what you can do is I could have done that originally. That would have just held my pages, and you can use bulldog clips, or these are sewing clips, and it just holds your pages steady whilst you're doing this, and stops the holes moving about. All right, so once you've come up through there, make sure these are nice and tight, and then take your needle underneath that one, And I'd like to tuck that under as well, just so that you've got underneath both of those. Make sure they're nice and tight, and then tie off. And I do what we used to call a reef knot, right over left and under left, over right and under, pull it nice and tight. Now you can do that again if you want to. So right over left and under, left over right and under. There we go. Make sure it's nice and tight. Snip those ends off. Now I can also use the handle of this. You could use a bone folder, anything you like, just to give that a nice crease. And there you go. You've got a little journal ready to use. What did that take? Oh, maybe 10-15 minutes. The other thing you can do, the reason I put these pockets in, you'll see that's not much good as it is. I'm going to get some smaller scissors here. And I'm just going to, ooh, they're all sticky, they're no good. I'm going to cut along here, and this is something you could do before you bind it if you want to. And I'll get a craft knife and trim that off in a minute. There you go, you've got a quick little pocket. The other way to do it, I'll show you on the other side of this one. The other way to do it is to cut this way. There we go, you've got your pocket, and you can either leave this flat or cut it out as you want. So there you go, quick and easy journal, great for travelling, great to have in your bag when you're out and about, and less than 15 minutes to make. So that's all for today. So that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Ka kite anō.